Consider this. Your mind could be your best friend or your worst enemy. The book Thinking Fast and Slow by Daniel Kahneman dives deep into this concept. Ever pondered how your thoughts shape your decisions, your actions, and ultimately your life? The mind is a powerful tool, and understanding how it works can give us an edge in our daily lives. The book we're exploring today, Thinking Fast and Slow, penned by the prolific psychologist and Nobel laureate Daniel Kahneman, offers a fascinating insight into the labyrinth of our minds. Kahneman's masterpiece isn't your run-of-the-mill psychology book. It's an intriguing journey into the inner workings of human thought processes. The book is centered around two main characters, if you will, System 1 and System 2. These aren't physical entities, but rather two modes of thinking that govern our mental lives. System 1, as Kahneman elucidates, is our fast, intuitive, and emotional style of thinking. It's the part of us that reacts to situations instinctively, without much conscious effort. It's the voice in your head that tells you to pull your hand away when you touch a hot stove, or to jump back when you see a snake. It's quick, it's primal, and it's often right. On the other side, we have System 2. This is our slower, more deliberate, and more logical mode of thought. It's the part of us that deliberates, analyzes, and ponders before making a decision. It's the voice that tells you to study for an exam, to save money for the future, or to choose a salad over a burger. It's deliberate, it's rational, and it's often more effortful. These two systems, working in harmony, shape our perceptions, guide our decisions, and influence our actions. By understanding how these systems work, we can learn to harness their power, to make better decisions, and to lead more fulfilling lives. Understanding these two systems can revolutionize how we make decisions. As we delve deeper into Kahneman's insights in the upcoming scenes, we'll uncover how this revolution can take place. So stick around as we explore the power of thinking, fast and slow. Let's delve into System 1, the fast, intuitive, and emotional way of thinking. System 1 thinking is our brain's instinctive response, the default system that comes into play without us even realizing it. It's the part of our brain that reacts to stimuli in a split second, making decisions that feel natural and effortless. This is the system that enables us to react instantly when we see danger or recognize a familiar face in a crowd. Imagine you're walking down a dark alley and you hear a rustling sound behind you. Your heart rate spikes, your palms start to sweat, and you quicken your pace. You didn't consciously decide to do these things. It was your System 1 thinking stepping in, making rapid-fire decisions based on the perceived threat. Or consider when you're driving a familiar route home. You don't need to actively think about each turn or stop sign. Your System 1 thinking takes over, allowing you to navigate without conscious thought. It's the reason you might arrive home and realize you don't remember much of the drive. System 1 thinking isn't just about physical reactions, though. It also influences our judgments and decision-making. For instance, if someone asked you to solve 2 plus 2, you wouldn't need to stop and think about it. The answer would instantly pop into your mind, courtesy of System 1. But while System 1 thinking is incredibly efficient, it's not always accurate. This is where biases and heuristics come into play. Biases are tendencies to think in certain ways that can lead to systematic deviations from a standard of rationality or good judgment. Heuristics, on the other hand, are mental shortcuts that simplify decision-making. For instance, consider the availability heuristic, a mental shortcut that relies on immediate examples that come to mind. If you've just watched a news report about a plane crash, you might overestimate the danger of flying, even though statistically it's one of the safest modes of transportation. That's your System 1 thinking at work, letting a vivid but unrepresentative example influence your judgment. Or take the anchoring bias. If you're negotiating a price, the first number that gets thrown out there, the anchor, tends to have a disproportionate influence on the rest of the negotiation, regardless of its relevance. Again, that's System 1, taking the easy route and focusing on the information readily available. As you can see, System 1 thinking is a double-edged sword. On the one hand, it's incredibly efficient, allowing us to navigate the world without having to consciously process every single piece of information we encounter. On the other hand, its reliance on shortcuts and immediate reactions can lead us to make decisions that aren't necessarily the most rational or beneficial. System 1 thinking, while efficient, can often lead us astray. But what about its counterpart? Now, we turn our attention to System 2, the slow, deliberate, and logical counterpart. This is the cognitive mechanism that kicks in when we need to think things through more thoroughly. Whereas System 1 operates on instinct and snap judgments, System 2 requires deliberate effort and conscious thought. Let's delve into the characteristics of System 2 thinking. Unlike its intuitive counterpart, this system is not automatic. It's the mental gear we engage when we solve a complex math problem, make a decision about a major life event, or try to assess the validity of a complex argument. Take, for instance, the example from the book about the bat and ball problem. When asked, a bat and a ball cost $1.10. The bat costs $1 more than the ball. How much does the ball cost? Most people's immediate response is 10 cents, which is a classic System 1 response. However, if you engage your System 2 thinking, you'll quickly realize that the correct answer is actually 5 cents. The reason this happens is because System 2 is more detail-oriented. It focuses on the fine print, the nuances, and the complexities of a situation. It's slower than System 1, but it's also more accurate and reliable. System 2 thinking also plays a significant role in self-monitoring and self-control. It's the system that helps you resist the temptation of a late-night snack when you're trying to lose weight, or the system that encourages you to study for an upcoming test instead of watching television. In the realm of decision-making, System 2 is the voice of reason. It considers the potential consequences of a decision, weighs the pros and cons, and takes time to evaluate the available options. However, it's important to note that System 2 thinking is not without its flaws. It demands energy and effort, which can lead to a phenomenon known as decision fatigue. After a long day of making decisions, System 2 can get tired, leading to poorer decision-making or a default back to System 1. Moreover, System 2 is often influenced by System 1. If System 1 has a strong emotional reaction or intuition about something, it can sway the judgments of System 2. This is why it's crucial to be aware of the interplay between these two systems when making decisions. In summary, System 2 is our slow, deliberate, and logical cognitive function. It's the side of our brain that takes time to analyze, ponder, and scrutinize. It's the system that helps us make thoughtful decisions, resist temptations, and solve complex problems. System 2 thinking requires more effort, but it can help us make better decisions. But how do these systems interact? Stay tuned as we delve deeper into the fascinating interplay between these two cognitive systems in our next segment. So, how do these two systems interact and influence our decision-making process? This, dear listeners, is the crux of the matter. The dance between the two systems, fast and slow, is a delicate one. Let's think about a time when you were driving on a familiar road, perhaps your commute to work. Your System 1, the fast and intuitive system, is in the driver's seat. It knows the road like the back of its hand, effortlessly navigating the familiar twists and turns. But then, you see a car abruptly stopping ahead. Instantly, System 2, the slow and deliberate system, takes over, prompting you to apply the brakes and avoid a potential collision. This is a classic example of the interaction between the two systems. System 1 provides the immediate, automatic response, while System 2 steps in when things get complex, requiring more thoughtful, calculated actions. But what happens when these systems don't work in harmony? Well, that's when biases and heuristics come into play, skewing our decision-making process. Take, for instance, the availability heuristic. This is a mental shortcut that relies on immediate examples that come to mind. When you hear about a plane crash on the news, you might suddenly perceive air travel as more dangerous, even though statistically it's safer than driving. That's System 1 reacting to the vivid, emotional story, overshadowing the logical, statistical facts that System 2 might have offered. Similarly, we have the anchoring bias. This is where we rely too heavily on the first piece of information we encounter, the anchor, when making decisions. If a store advertises a shirt as reduced from $100 to $50, we're more likely to perceive it as a bargain, even if it's not worth $50 in the first place. Again, System 1 is at play, latching onto the initial information and influencing our perception. However, it's not all doom and gloom. Being aware of these biases and heuristics is the first step towards mitigating their influence. It's about engaging System 2, encouraging it to challenge System 1's initial reactions and assumptions. It's about slowing down, taking a step back, and thinking more deliberately. As we delve deeper into the examples from the book, we see that the interaction between the two systems is not just a simple handover of control, it's a complex dance, a constant back and forth that shapes our perceptions, judgments, and decisions. So, let's not be too hard on ourselves when we fall prey to these biases. After all, they're a natural part of our cognitive functioning. Instead, Let's strive to be more aware, more thoughtful, and more deliberate in our decision-making process. As we can see, our thinking isn't as straightforward as we might believe. But with awareness and understanding, we can navigate the intricacies of our mind, making better, more informed decisions along the way. How can we apply the insights from thinking fast and slow to our daily lives? Well, let's dive in. Imagine you're about to make a major decision, such as buying a house or choosing a career path. Instead of making a snap decision based on your gut feeling or System 1, take a moment to engage your System 2. Slow down and consider all the factors. Look into the market trends before buying a house or research about job prospects in your chosen career. This is where your slow, deliberate thinking can save you from making a potentially costly mistake. Take another scenario. You're on a game show, and you've been asked a tricky question. Your System 2 might start to kick in, trying to analyze the question and come up with a logical answer. But this could take time, and on a game show, time is often not on your side. Here, you might want to rely on your System 1, your fast, intuitive thinking. It can help you come up with an answer quickly, even if it's not 100% accurate. In essence, it's all about balance. Recognize when to use your System 1 and when to switch on your System 2. Your instinct might be to rely on one more than the other, but both have their place and can be useful in different situations. In the world of business, understanding these two systems can be a game changer. Many successful entrepreneurs use their System 1 for brainstorming sessions, when they need to come up with innovative ideas quickly. But when it comes to making strategic decisions, they switch to their System 2, taking time to analyze the pros and cons. In personal relationships, this understanding can also prove invaluable. When you're arguing with someone, it's easy to let your System 1 take over and say things you might later regret. If you can recognize this and engage your System 2, you can take a step back, think about what you really want to say, and perhaps even find a solution to the conflict. Moreover, understanding these systems can help you understand others better. When someone reacts quickly, they're likely using their System 1. If they take their time to respond, they're probably engaging their System 2. This can help in negotiations, in understanding your friends and family, and in just navigating the world around you. The benefits of understanding and utilizing both System 1 and System 2 thinking are manifold. Not only can it help us make better decisions in our personal and professional lives, but it can also help us understand others and the world around us more effectively. Now that you have a better understanding of how your mind works, you can make more informed decisions. So, go out there and think, both fast and slow. In Thinking Fast and Slow, Daniel Kahneman provides us with a fascinating exploration of our minds. This captivating journey through the corridors of our cognition has unveiled the dual systems that drive our thoughts, the fast, intuitive, and emotional System 1, and the slow, deliberate, and logical System 2. We've delved into the interaction between these two systems, shedding light on how they shape our decisions, judgments, and behaviors. The practical applications of understanding these cognitive processes are vast, from enhancing our decision-making skills to improving our emotional intelligence. This knowledge offers us the power to be more mindful of our thinking patterns, to question our intuitive responses, and to harness the balance of speed and deliberation. It's an empowering tool that can transform our lives in meaningful ways. Remember, understanding your mind is the first step to mastering it. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe for more insightful content.